With the season approaching, here's a few wide receivers I've been avoiding drafting in these mock drafts and prep for the 2026 season. First receiver, Roma Dunze of the Chicago Bears. So this Bear offense, they got a lot of mouths to feed on that offense, even with DJ Moore traded away to the Buffalo Bills in the offseason. And Roma Dunze, he got off to a nice start at the beginning of last year, and then he fizzled out. 44 catches, 661 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns on 90 targets. So Roma Dunze took a little bit of a backseat second half of last year. Luther Bird and Colston Loveland emerged in their rookie years for the Chicago Bear team. And you got a good backfield of DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monangai as well. And Adunze right now, he's going 5th, 6th round in most fantasy drafts. And he's a guy, like I said, I don't think the upside is great for Roma Dunze. I know he's a great college wide receiver, but him and Caleb Williams, it just seems like they haven't been hitting on all cylinders over the last couple of years. And like I said, a Luther Burden and a Colston Loveland most likely will have a better season than a Dunze. So a Dunze, arguably the third or fourth option in this offense, even though Ben Johnson, he says this offense is going to score the most points of all time is his goal. He's the Bears head coach. And obviously last year was a great offense, but also with Caleb Williams, he's inaccurate at times as well. So with those factors and ADP-wise, where Roma Dunze is going, I'm avoiding drafting him this season unless he falls to like the early 7th round. Next receiver, Terry McLaurin of the Washington Commanders. So Terry McLaurin, it was an injury-plagued season last year. I know a couple years ago, him and Jaden Daniels, second half of the year, really hit it off, and the Commanders made a deep playoff run, losing in the NFC Championship. But last season, only 38 catches, 582 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns. They brought in Stephon Diggs, Chigga Kwangwo, got a backfield of Krosky Merritt, and obviously Rashad White they brought in as well. And Terry McLaurin, he's been around for a long time now, and I think maybe he lost a step. Is Scary Terry, and also ADP-wise, I don't really think he's a wide receiver worth taking in that 4th, 5th round range. If I could get him in the 6th round, I think it's good value for Scary Terry because wide receiver is very deep this season in fantasy football. Jaden Daniels, if he's going to look to run the football like he usually has in the first 2 seasons of his career, targets are going to go down for McLaurin. We're also, as well, last season when Debo was over there with this Commander team, the targets went down for McLaurin. So with all those factors, and like I said, health has been a problem on and off for McLaurin the last couple of years, ADP-wise. I don't like where he's going, and I feel like his ceiling just isn't as high as some of these young wide receivers and also some guys who've been around who have big play ability more than McLaurin. Next receiver, Parker Washington of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Parker Washington, it was a great second half of the year for him last season, but I've seen him on some platforms, 6th, 7th round. He's going as Parker Washington. And I think Brian Thomas still has more upside. Thomas, a big prospect coming out, obviously had a great rookie season. Then last year took a step back with drop passes and scared to cross the middle at times. But Washington, he had a great year, no doubt about it. 58 catches, 847 receiving yards, 5 touchdowns, and 2 return touchdowns. He had a good year as Parker Washington, but still, I don't think he's a 6th to 8th round range type of wide receiver. Like I said, I'd rather have a Brian Thomas than him in that receiving room. Even Jacoby Myers at times could be more consistent than a Parker Washington, I believe, this season for this Jacksonville Jaguar team. And like I said, he had good games last year, but Thomas, he was in and out of the lineup at times as well. And we know Trevor Lawrence is a quarterback that likes spreading it out. And that's the type of system Liam Cohen ran with Tampa Bay, and he's ran in his first season last year with Jacksonville. But like I said, Parker Washington, I have to see once again for me really to value him high, where this offense has 3 receivers that any week one of them could do nothing. Next receiver, Jordan Addison of the Minnesota Vikings. So Jordan Addison, the last couple years, his numbers have gone down. Now another quarterback, obviously over there in Kyler Murray for this Minnesota Viking team. So Addison last year, he didn't do much off the field stuff as well. Was suspended a few games last year. 42 catches, 610 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns. So you got Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason in the backfield. You know, Kyler Murray, he's going to run the football a lot on his own as Kyler Murray. That's what he's done throughout his career, 400 or 500 yards on the ground. They're going to get from him minimum is this Minnesota Viking team. And also Jawan Jennings they brought in as well, where I don't think he's going to take a total backseat in this offense as the number 3 wide receiver, where last year, most of the time, he was the man over there in San Francisco and had a good year. And obviously Justin Jefferson, he's going to get his as one of the best receivers in the league. So with all those factors, and Jordan Addison, He's been in that top 100 overall. I think he's going to be inconsistent as Jordan Addison. And also, with another new quarterback in this system and a running quarterback at that, and Kyler Murray, I don't think he'll have great upside in the final receiver, Christian Watson of the Green Bay Packers. He's a good talent, no doubt about it. He's Christian Watson. But the thing with him has been injuries throughout his career. But the Packers, they weren't worried about it. They gave him a nice contract extension to Watson. And last year, 35 catches, 611 receiving yards, and 6 touchdowns. And it's one thing about Watson, he's a great deep ball threat. And this kid just has a knack for the end zone. I remember going back to his rookie year where he really got it going, where he had about 8 touchdowns in his last 5 games. He had some big games. His rookie year was Christian Watson. Last season, when he came back from injury, he turned it on. And now this receiving room is a little more clearer as well over there in Green Bay, where Dontayvion Wicks, he was traded away to the Philadelphia Eagles. Romeo Doubs signed with the Patriots, and now it's Watson, Jaden Reed, and Matthew Golden is the top 3 guys in that receiving room, where they didn't need 5 number 2 wide receivers on the roster. So we'll see if Watson get more opportunity and emerging this season could pay dividends for fantasy owners. But like I said, this guy's going in the 5th, 6th round. I think that's a little bit too high for a guy with a big injury concern throughout his career he's been. And also, he's been a deep ball threat at times, or nothing is Watson. But if he could stay healthy, I could see a decent year from him. But right now, going into the season, I don't like the ADP, and he has a track record of missing a lot of games throughout his career. So that's a few wide receivers I'll look to avoid this season entering the 2026 fantasy football season.